She was a child.
The child? I ain't with no... Oh, that was... I had gas. I still got it. There's your child. Now go get me something to drink.
We're really classing up the joint with this one. This is Norbit on this episode of Does This Movie Suck? Norbit is a 2007 film starring Eddie Murphy in 3 roles, Tandy Newton and Cuba Gooding Jr. It made almost $160 million on a $60 million budget, but was savaged by critics. The typical review reads, "Think Big Mama's House blended with a particularly loathsome Jerry Lewis movie, and you've got the picture. Grimacing yet?" Critic Richard Roper was even more direct when he said that Norbit is offensively bad. The critics didn't pull any punches, especially considering that Norbit was released in the shadow of Dreamgirls, a film that would garner critical acclaim and an Oscar nod for Eddie Murphy. Norbit is one of the films that end what we will consider the second wave of Eddie Murphy's career. If the first wave included hard R films like Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, and Coming to America, then the second wave would be when Eddie turned to more family-friendly films like The Nutty Professor, Mulan, Dr. Dolittle, and Shrek. This second wave would see Eddie at his highest high, and also his lowest low. It's a wave that would end Eddie's high demand with a series of terrible films that would kill all of the goodwill that he had built up with the movie-going public. Norbit came at the end, part of a series of brutally bad movies plagued by bad scripts or rehashing of some of Eddie's most successful roles. But does it suck? Let's take a look. Norbit is the title of the film and also the name of the main character. Norbit is left at an orphanage as a baby. Sorry, it's a Chinese restaurant and orphanage, because that's a hilarious concept. I laugh a minute this film. We meet the first and most cringe-inducing of Eddie Murphy's characters.
Oh, coyotes, go, get back, coyotes. Ah, get out of here, shoot. You will not eat another baby.
Is this joke funny? Another baby? Did you laugh? I didn't. That's the same joke for 17 seconds.
Ling Ling, someone left another one.
Keep trying and it's sure to land, right? This repetition does not end with just this scene.
Mr. Wang was a very interesting man. In addition to his love for children and preparation of fine Asian cuisine, he had a real passion for old-time whaling.
It's a whale hole!
You get one guess as to what's going to happen, and you win no money.
Bingo! Right in the blowhole!
So Norbit becomes friends with Kate.
Go, Norbit! Go, Norbit! Oh, that's okay. You're doing good.
Is a pratfall that happens entirely off-camera funny? I'm asking for a friend. After watching Norbit, I began to question the nature of comedy, of life, and of death. So Kate and Norbit become boyfriend and girlfriend. When Kate gets adopted, Norbit is left with a broken heart. But not for long. One day some boys decide to pick on Norbit, but one of his classmates comes to his rescue.
Who are you?
Respucia, what's your name?
Norbit.
You got a girlfriend, Nesbit?
Norbit. No.
What you do now? Get your ass up and hold my hand.
With Respucia on his side, Norbit becomes slightly more popular, if only by force.
Norbit.
Come on!
Respucia's family makes Norbit feel right at home, I guess.
Here you go, Norbit. Say the best piece for you.
What's that?
Turkey ass. Eat up, sucker.
Hilarious? I think I'm seriously missing something here. Respucia has 3 brothers and they own a construction business. Norbit begins working for them. It's a good job, so Norbit decides to take the next step with Respucia, getting married.
You may kiss the bride.
Open your mouth.
The next scene introduces two characters that come the closest to hitting on some sort of funny material.
Them are not dimples, them are potholes in her ass. Like an Escalade in a wedding dress.
Oh!
I really thought these two characters would be the characters who see the situation from the outside and decide to make fun of it. You know, like these two. But no, this film mishandles these two characters also. And the film kind of reviews itself.
It's a horror show.
And we're whisked away to Norbit and Rasputia's wedding night.
Rasputia, I know we're both nervous because we've never done this before. But we can take our time, darling. In sweet time.
Alright, I have a question. Did you find this funny? Because you're gonna see it 3 more times. And no, not peppered throughout the movie, but in succession, right in a row, right now.
Merry Christmas! Oh, halt! And it's still going strong. Happy President's Day! God bless America!
It's the same joke 4 times, edited the exact same way with the exact same camera shots. There's no wind up, there's no fake out, it's all the same. So let's say you found all 4 jumps funny. 3 of them are in the trailer.
Let me tell you, just between the two of us, I can't keep Norbit off me. Boom, bam, boom, boom. But I ain't mad at him. Hey.
And that pretty much goes for all of the film's major comedic set pieces, one of which is more or less played out in its entirety. So you've probably already seen most of the funny parts of the film when you sat down to watch it. There's nothing left, there's no surprises. The repetition of jokes is pretty much the name of the game for this film. Consider this scene with Rasputia. Did you find that funny? Because the movie is going to point out that subtle bit of comedy and repeat it 3 more times.
No, you move that I can tell, because look, when I inhale, my titty make the horn honk. Listen. See that? That ain't right.
I hear it.
The Rasputia character may be one of Eddie Murphy's worst creations. She's shrill, obnoxious, and horrible to our main character.
We're gonna perforate. We're gonna penetrate. We're gonna percolate.
I'm personally obsessed with mirrors in movies. I'm always interested to see how certain filmmakers work around it. Sometimes filmmakers will paint out camera reflections, sometimes they angle the mirror down so you can't see the cameras. But Norbit, just go ahead and show it, man. Rasputia is having an affair with her tap dance teacher, played by Marlon Wayans.
Man, actually, I'm her power tap guru.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my mistake. See, that's a joke. This movie does nothing with that line.
You have any...
Oh, man, I'm just real passionate about dance.
Wait, play that again.
You have any...
Oh.
Having listened to that, that seems to be an edit to get a PG-13 rating. Would Norbit be funnier as an R-rated film? The world may never know.
Rasputia, you cheated on me!
Look, I told your ass ain't nothing happened. And the next time you say it happened again, I'm gonna knock your teeth out your mouth.
Norbit and Rasputia have a falling out, I guess you could say, over her cheating.
And that makes you the queen of whores!
This could have been a funny sequence. It has some funny lines.
Run for your life!
But it ends awkwardly, relying on Murphy as Rasputia to ad-lib the scene to an end. It doesn't work at all.
Did you feel like running, Norbit? Why don't you run your ass down to the rib shack and get me a short stack of ribs?
Norbit, who is volunteering at the orphanage he grew up in, works out some issues in front of the kids.
Yeah, I'm tired of you pushing me around.
Look, I'm tired of playing with your ass, bitch. I know you got ribs in that basket.
Why don't you get up off your lazy behind and go down to the rib shack and get your own ribs? Or better still, why don't you just call Buster and tell him to come over and power tap you? Because in addition to being...
Those kids' reactions are the exact reaction I had to this movie. Stupefied silence and confusion. With Norbit's puppet scene coming to a complete and awkward halt, an old friend comes back into the picture. This is Kate, all grown up, now played by Tandy Newton.
It's just like old times. Maybe you two go take poop together.
That line needs something more. A reaction, a one-liner, something. And that's pretty much the problem with Norbit. The characters don't work together to create comedy. Something happens, but then the scene doesn't build from that. It's all one-note jokes, be it Rasputin's jumping on Norbit's bed or this poop line. The characters might as well be in a room by themselves. With Kate back in town, Norbit hopes to rekindle their lost love. But of course she has a fiancé, and of course he's kind of a dick.
I was just telling Dion that you and I were buddy partners at the orphanage.
Now she and I are buddy partners. Oh, shame on you, man, letting a girl go like this. I feel for you.
That's Dion. He's played by Cuba Gooding Jr., and he's kind of a cliche. He's a real estate guy, and of course he's working with Rasputin's brothers to buy the orphanage and turn it into a strip club.
It's a perfect place for a titty bar.
Did you say titty bar?
Titties.
We got it all worked out.
We're gonna call it Nippolopolis.
Hilarious. The rest of the film's scenes fall into one of three categories. 1. Look how good Norbit and Kate are together.
I'm going to Giovanni's tonight to choose the food for the reception. You want to come?
2. Look how bad Dion is.
Voila.
Or 3, look how terrible Rasputia is.
First you're gonna clean the basement, then you're gonna clean the garage, then you're gonna go upstairs and clean the attic.
We don't even have an attic.
Well, then you build a damn attic then, Norbit, and then clean it.
Most of Rasputia's scenes in the film are premise-based, like Rasputia goes to the water park. That's another scene that's played out almost in its entirety in the trailer. It all leads up to Dion and Kate's wedding, with Norbit confronting Dion about his former girlfriends, of which he has many, and his plans for the orphanage. Here's the thing about Norbit. It's not that bad. The makeup effects are great, but nothing else works. But even then, the film isn't hateable like some of the other films I've watched for this show. Norbit tries to have a good heart, and the character motivations are noble, but the film fails to take the extra step to create comedy with its characters. The film has an over-reliance on each character to be funny on their own. The film never takes the extra step to put them in funny situations. Take, for instance, this fart scene.
There's your child. Now go get me something to drink.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Take the extra step. That's the lesson from Norbit. There's an arrogance to this film, the thought being that Eddie Murphy is a comedic genius and we'll figure it out as we go. But Eddie's got nothing in this film. Where are the jokes? The film's over-reliance on character jokes reeks of laziness. Even the creation of the characters is lazy. Norbit is a cousin of Eddie Murphy's character in Bowfinger, which is a vastly superior film. Rasputia could be one of the clumps. We've seen these characters before. The film seems to be scraping the bottom of Murphy's character barrel. Taking the extra step goes to the editing too. Remember that tap dancing sequence with the camera reflection? Here's a boom mic. There's the aforementioned camera shot. Here's the Steadicam operator's legs. All in the same sequence. Now I know even the best films have camera reflections or boom mic shadows. It just happens. But in a controlled environment like this, it's easily fixable. To me, this screams of the Steadicam operator not knowing where his actors were going to be at any point in time during the scene. It reeks of making it up as they went along. It also screams to me that the editor was trying to make something out of nothing. This laziness in writing and filmmaking kills Norbit. It's a film that wasted substantial talent in front of the camera. As I watched the film, I didn't hate the film, but I was struck by its lack of jokes and its air of laziness. Is it as bad as some of the movies I've watched here before? No, but it's still not good. And that's it for this episode. I've linked my social media in the description below, and I hope that you'll subscribe to this channel and join us next time when we ask the question, does this movie suck? Thanks for watching.
Well, you know, you've been eating so much lately. It's a very strong possibility that the car is shrinking.